Oxygen with KSI Press and Ty Gwerder, who returns to action this Friday at Freedom Fight Night 2. Ty, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy to be talking with you. Dude, you're 2 days before your fight. How you feeling?
As good as I could be. I mean, weight cuts are pretty easy for me, and here we go again. Like two right before weigh-ins, I'm feeling pretty fresh. I think this weight's gonna come off pretty easy. So, just
Awesome.
another park.
Awesome. Well, I did want to say thank you for talking with me during fight week, during weight cut. I know it's fucking tough.
It's all good. I don't mind it. It's to me. I try not to put more pressure on myself than I need to, and to me, all of this stuff comes with the sport. So it's nice. It's nice to do it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right. Well, so it's been just about almost a year since your last fight, man. Why the long layoff?
Well, I had the hand surgery after the last fight that put me out for a couple months, and then literally the first week I got back from being cleared from that hand injury, I actually tore my ACL. It wasn't a full tear; didn't need surgery. It was a grade two, but that also put me out another three and a half, 4 months before I could actually train. So I spent 4 months trying to recover and strengthen my knee again before I did anything. And that that was what 5 months, 6 months of the last year. So since then I've been just trying to train hard, stay healthy, and get back to the get back under the lights.
You all healthy now?
Yeah, for the most part.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. I did want to ask you about your last fight. What'd you learn from that fight?
I'm sorry.
What'd you learn about your last Bellator fight?
Don't leave it in the hands of the judges. I mean, everyone that's watched that fight, I've watched it back several times, and like not being biased, not trying to blow steam up my ass. Sorry, excuse my language. I won that fight. We all know it. So all I know is just I got to make sure I don't leave it in the hands of the judges.
Were you disappointed that Bellator let you go, or was that your decision?
I think it was a little bit on both sides. Like we were, I like the UFC is always the end goal, and them letting me go despite the performance I put on was a bit disheartening. Um, I believe that I could have did a second contract with them, but it wasn't in their best interest. So it's cool, like it's like the universe telling me that we're gonna take another route and make the shoot for the UFC.
So you're on the first losing streak of your career, man. What are the emotions like going into this fight, and do you have any pressure going into this fight?
There is actually a lot of pressure. I try not to, like I said, I try not to put more pressure on myself than I should, but this is one of those situations where it can make or break, or it can put me on standby for quite a while. Like if I lose this fight, that puts me at 5-4, and not too many guys get into UFC at 5-4. I'd have to go on maybe a 5-6 fight win streak before I can start making some noise again. And going into this fight, I think this one fight really could make the difference as far as how my career is going to unfold.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about it. Firstly, how short notice of a changeup was Shane from your original opponent, EJ?
I think it was, I think it was like five. So 2 weeks after he pulled out, I'd say about 10 days after he pulled out was when we got the offer for Shane, which put me at 4 weeks out from this date, and which would be 3 working weeks.
How much of a change in your training camp did it take?
Nothing. I took I took it easy mentally and physically for a week, just reset myself. I still train obviously, but I give myself that week to kind of just, all right, let all the stress go, whatever's on your mind, like it is what it is. Because we've had issues with finding opponents before. Making my pro debut was always an issue finding an opponent. And here we are again having a hard time finding an opponent. So I gave myself that little week to be like, hey, you know what? Next guy. That's all it is. That's the only difference. And we just get back on the horse.
Are you worried now that you're outside of a major promotion that like it's going to be hard to find opponents, or do you think that maybe people will be like, well, he's on a losing streak, he's not in Bellator anymore, let's try and make a name off the tie?
I am worried about the regional show not being able to find me opponents, or no one, anyone on the regionals being able to find me opponents. But that's been the issue. Like, I've started my career at such a high level that going back to regional show, and I've only, like, this is my 9th fight. So not too many people have the experience I have in 9 fights. And that'll probably be the issue, finding opponents moving forward. And, you know, I'm 5-3, all knockout wins. And out of my 3 losses, I haven't been finished, you know? So, you know, it's one of those things where my record doesn't show the fighter I am.
Right. No, for sure. I did want to ask, like, in hindsight, like, did you want more experience before going to Bellator? Because, you know, you had knocked out all of your opponents before getting to Bellator, didn't have a lot of experience inside of the cage, and then you get thrown into this major organization? Or was it just kind of like, it is what it is, like you were ready?
I felt ready, you know. My coaches, Eric Nixick and Ray Seffel, they both told me from the get-go, my training gym experience is levels above anybody that's going to be put in front of me for a while, you know. My main training partners is, you know, Brad Tavares. I've had Uriah Hall in our gym. Now we got Sean Strickland. I got Puno Soriano, Maki Pitolo. Like, those are all guys that's got experience, you know. And I don't think I haven't faced anybody on the regional show that comes nearly as close to them as what I have to face in sparring, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. It's you go into Extreme Couture, you look around, you're like, oh fuck.
Exactly. I still believe we have the best room, you know. And going into Bellator, I felt like, you know, it's going to be a learning experience either way. And I'm glad I got to experience that high level at a young stage of my career, because when I make it back to the big show, it's going to be a whole different me.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear. All right, so let's talk about it, man. Shane, Freedom Fight Night 2. Shane, what do you think of the matchup?
I think it's a great matchup. He's a booger. He's awkward. He reminds me of like the Dominic Cruz style, but just at middleweight. I think stylistically works for me. I'm very technical. I'll be much quicker than he is. We'll see on the strength side, but you know, stylistically, I think this matchup favors me in every aspect. People think I can't grapple. People think I can't wrestle. Like, we got to also remember I've had 3 takedowns in my last fight. So it's going to be a rude awakening for anybody that thinks they can grapple with me. And I don't know, either way, I think I put him on his ass anyway.
Did you have a chance to watch his last fight against Jared McLaughlin?
Yeah, funny story about that. So Casey actually, LFA had asked me to fight him on short notice. I think it was 10 days notice. I said yes, without hesitation. And apparently, in the span of 2 days after I had said yes, Jared McLaughlin went ghost. And he didn't want the fight, obviously. And so they gave him Shane Sobnosky. He took the fight. Actually, Casey was talking shit to him on his Instagram. And like, you know, he's telling Casey that I don't belong to be in the cage with him. I'm on a losing streak. I'm not worthy, this and that. And he goes and fights Shane, and then he quit on the stool in between the first and second. That's embarrassing. That's a joke. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, like, that fight against Jared McLaughlin wasn't anything spectacular, if you ask me.
Yeah, so I had talked to Jared prior to that fight, man, and he was talking so much shit. He was, you know, saying like he just was like, you know, he talks good, and then to see that performance is just like, The fuck was that?
We ripped him right after, and he said, "Oh, I didn't know it was a 3-round bout or something like that." And I was like, I know you're an idiot, but you're an idiot for saying that as well. So
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was crazy. That one was like it was just surprising, man. So all right. So at the end of the day, Friday, how do you get your hand raised?
um, if it makes it past the first, either way, I'll finish it by the second. I'm gonna knock his ass out,
Mm,
and we'll keep that 100% knockout rate successful.
mm, I love it. I love to hear it, man. And then finally for me, what do you want the rest of your year to look like? You get past Shane. How many more fights you want, and how many fights do you think it's going to take you to get to the UFC? Because you said like that's the goal.
I'd like to fight maybe, if this fight ends up in a spectacular win, I think that'll put me back in talks to, make some noise back towards the UFC and on that route. I say fights should do it. If not 3, I'd like to stay active for the rest of the year and rack as many wins, get as much more experience as I can get before I get there, and if contenders is an option and that comes up, I'm 100% taking it regardless of what. And if I get 1 or 2 wins and they call me for a short notice fight against anybody, you bet your ass I'm gonna take that as well.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Ty. I really appreciate it. If you want to plug your social media, plug any sponsors you got, you want to thank anybody, the floor is yours.
Thank you to my team. More than all of this is done, can't be done without them. My team, my coaches, they put the time into me, and my sponsors, Fuel Hunt and A&J Car Wash, and just my support system. Everybody here supporting me on this journey. It means the world. Thank you.